This meeting is being recorded.
G'day. This is Cece from Generation Wellness Global. I wanted to get into something big today. So I heard someone the other day talking about fibro, and they're like, oh, there's no, it's a terrible thing. It is a terrible thing. And there's no known cure. And, a lot of people talk the same about Endo and about there's so many unknown, inexplicable issues, diseases, syndromes these days. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about disease and about how actually human biology, despite all its complexities, is really simple. How to be healthy and heal is actually not easy. It's a lot of processes, a lot of things that you need to do, but it's simple. It's actually simple. By small and simple things, right? So essentially, a friend of mine always says that every generation is a weaker copy. And I thought about this and I thought, really, like every generation has to be weaker? But when you look at, certainly at the moment, in the generation we're in, where we've come from, we have increased our toxic load exponentially. We have increased our stress levels and busyness exponentially. And we've decreased our quality of food. We've decreased our quality of life and sunshine and exercise and traditional style of living. So we certainly, and then on top of that, so that's just the physical stuff. Then you've got the emotional and spiritual stuff, which we haven't been addressing in previous generations because let's face it, like the previous generations were just trying to survive. The previous generations went through the wars and the depression. They didn't have the tools, the healing modalities, all the things. I mean, some people probably did in some cultures, but certainly my parents and their parents didn't. And so we now, as a generation, have a lot more knowledge about how to do this healing work. And so that's generations of trauma and stress that hasn't been addressed until now. So emotionally and spiritually, we're carrying a lot more stuff from generations. And there's just so much stuff, right? There's just so much. So to me, it's really obvious why there are so many chronic diseases, syndromes, issues that are inexplicable, because we've increased toxicity and we've decreased our capacity to actually create health and healing in our bodies. It's just that's the equation. You've got to decrease the amount of toxins you're putting into and onto your body, increase the good stuff that you're nourishing your body with, and then clear out the toxins that are already there. The physical, environmental, emotional, all of it. Decrease stress levels, because that's a toxin that you're putting into your body. That's something that you're creating metabolic disorder in your body through stress. So we need to put in more of the good stuff and less of the bad, and then get the bad that's in there out. And it's not take a pill and you're fixed. And I think that's the biggest problem. And I'm not saying that people haven't tried. I'm not saying that, but we keep going back to doctors who don't look holistically. And particularly, I don't know in other countries, but in Australia, our doctors are basically they're not allowed to say anything that hasn't been taught to them by a drug rep. They're not allowed to recommend natural options. They're not allowed. Doesn't matter if there's research out there. There's a whole website, aromaticscience.com, that shows scientific research on essential oils. But you go to a doctor here, they can't recommend essential oils. They might say, if you're already using them, they might go, oh yeah, good, keep doing that. But they're not allowed to prescribe or recommend anything outside of their sphere of allopathic drug prescriptions. So if you go to them for solutions and that's all they're allowed to say, you're going to miss a whole lot of stuff that can actually help you address the fundamental issues. And the fundamental issues are inflammation in the body. Endometriosis is an inflammatory disease. Fibromyalgia is an inflammatory disease. Inflammation in the body is the precursor of all modern Western illnesses. Stress and inflammation. We create an abundance of damage in our bodies through stresses, through toxins, through even the quality of what we eat. We're creating that, and we don't have the capacity, we don't have the level of antioxidants or whatever to be able to correct and give our body the space to do its own healing processes. But it's possible. There are people who have done it. So I really wanted to, and this might hit hard, I don't know, but I'm trying to bring hope. There are solutions. There are ways to address these issues in the body. You have to alkalize the body. You have to detox the body, and you have to put more of the good nourishment and foundational stuff into the body and less of the toxic everything else. It's possible. I know people who have done it. I've completely changed my health, and I'm still doing it because it's a progression. It's a process, right, of just slowly, step by step, changing what I'm putting in, getting the other stuff out. Now, a lot of people talk about genetics, and I hope that we're not still hung up on genetics, because unless you have an extra chromosome or something like that's really profoundly, very obviously genetic, everything else is changeable. Because your genes can be turned on and off. Different genes can be activated or repressed based on the quality of what you're putting into your body, how you're nourishing, how you're releasing emotional stress and trauma. All of these things change your gene expression. And I know because I've done some work around this, and it's profound. So I'm hoping that I'm giving hope, even though it might be hard to hear, because you want the easy. Everything is to do with how well your body and your organ systems are functioning, and that is determined by what you're putting in and on and around your body, how you're alkalizing your body, because acidosis is the disease state. Disease can't exist in an alkaline body. Acidosis is the disease state. Acidosis is inflammation and stress, and there's a lot of foods that are acidic or create acidity in the body. So as we choose to do differently, we can create a different environment, and our body has the capacity to heal and restore things and replenish things in an alkaline environment. And even in the scriptures, it says, I've given you herbs and plants for your healing. Herbs, the plants, the essential oils. And I'm not saying just essential oils, it's diet, it's all the things. but I know that there are amazing things out there that can help you. I know that, you know, fruit fasting and eating an alkalizing whole food diet and reducing the amount of toxins in your environment, in your personal care products, it all adds up. It's all the little things step by step. And so if you want to look holistically, if you want to talk to someone about a holistic plan, to look at all of those things, I would love to help you and support you in that. I recently heard a statistic that 91% of people in Australia, and it would be similar or more in America and most other westernized countries and diets, 91% of people have some kind of insulin issue, like a precursor to metabolic diseases, diabetes, etc., etc. 91%. That's like everyone, okay? Everyone is having some precursor to metabolic issues. Guess what? This is all metabolic issues. Your metabolism controls your sleep, your hormone balance, your energy levels. If you're having trouble with any of those things, with your mood, with your sleep, with your energy levels, with your mental clarity, with your hormone balance, any of those things, please let me help. Please let's talk and discuss some steps, because you can't do it all at once. I get that. You can't take in this whole new way of everything, but it's about doing the steps as we come across them, as we learn about them little bit by little bit, making those changes. I probably first started understanding and exploring this when I fell pregnant with my first. Now she's nearly 12. So I've had 12 years and a background in medical research. And so I understood the science, the biochemistry, the immune system. I had that background, but I didn't understand it in terms of how to care for and nourish a human being, how to make sure that I created an environment in my body that created health and facilitated healing. And so that's what I've learned since falling pregnant with my first. Because then you suddenly learn, right? You're like, what do I do to keep this child healthy and protected? And how do I nourish? And so because I'm a researcher as well, I went into like all the stuff, and I learned a lot about diet and a lot about natural options and a lot about toxins in our environment and how to reduce and how to eliminate and how to get them out of the body and all the things, right? It's a process. It's a lifestyle, but it's your health. You only get one life. And for me, it's about trying to live healthier and younger, longer. I want to be that 90-year-old doing yoga on the beach still, because I've nourished my body so that it can function, so that it can continue to do. I do not subscribe to I have to get something neurodegenerative as I get older because that's just a way of life. I don't subscribe to that. Your brain is made of fats. If you put good fats in, your brain can be made of good fats. If you put takeaway in, your brain's going to be made of fake fats. And I've done a video on trans fats and stuff before. If you're putting the right building blocks in, you're going to be able to create things in the right conformation. And so, I don't want to, this is so fundamental and it's so simple, really. It's simple. It's not easy. It's not easy because it's a whole choice of like choosing differently, choosing to nourish our bodies differently, choosing to love our bodies differently, choosing to do the emotional healing as well. So choosing to dig into, childhood stuff and ancestral stuff. And sometimes that's not comfortable, but I tell you what, it's so good to come out the other side. It is so good to release it and heal that for generations. And what we do now matters because it does filter through the generations. And I'm going to finish now because my neighbors decided to start some kind of grinder over there. So please, if I can help you take some steps, we have amazing products available that are natural, that support the body to do this process of alkalizing and detoxing and just nourishing that metabolism and getting it back into a state of function and flow and just working, right? We just want it to work. So, and if you don't want the products, let's just chat about the first steps with diet or environmental, household cleaning or whatever it is, personal care stuff. Let's just talk about that. You don't have to feel like you have to get this whole package thing. It's just you have to take steps. You just have to take the first step and then see what the next step is. But I can tell you there are products that are natural, that are going to give you that foundation of nutrition, that are going to rebuild and support the metabolic health in your body, which is going to change everything. It's going to change your energy. It's going to change your mental clarity. It's going to change your sleep patterns. It's going to change your hormones and emotions, and you're going to just feel amazing. And that's a good thing, right? We want to do that for as long as possible in this lifetime. So please, if you want to know more about anything, reach out. I would love to help you. I would be honored to support you on this journey and to share what I've learned, because I have done the hard yards. I thought I knew a lot with a science degree and a grad dip in psych, and then I had kids, and then I learned all the other things. I did so much research. I've learned a lot, and I love to share it because not everyone is a researcher. Like, doing that is my gift, and I want to share that with other people. I want other people to feel that they can have the information without having to do those hard yards. But keep seeking truth. Keep know that healing is possible. Healing is possible. I need you to have that hope and that belief that healing is possible. You just have to understand that it's how the body works, how the body creates health and healing is simple, but it's going to require a lot of little steps, a lot of simple steps. So thanks for joining. I hope that this has brought you a little bit of light, a little bit of understanding, a little bit of hope. And please reach out. I'd love to chat with you if you have any questions at all. Have an awesome day, guys. Have a great weekend.